Hello there everyone, I'm good old JR, better known to others as Jim Ross, and welcome to the WWA's recap and the aftermath of the Art of War and the journey to European Uprising 3, an event that will have 2 nights. It'll be history in the making, and I gotta tell you, I for one am looking forward to it when we get there. Now I know you folks have all been wondering and speculating what would happen when Hulk Hogan and Kane clashed for the world title. Well, as you've known, we saw Hollywood Hogan's true colours after he returned to the ring and really laid it down. He had put a $100,000 bounty on Kane's head, and that bounty is still continuing on as we speak. It'll only culminate at European Uprising 3 if Kane can make it. Well, you're in for some little bit of a treat, ladies and gentlemen, because we actually kept tabs on what was going on regarding those two. However, though, Kane has been under so much pressure that he unfortunately, well, how should I say this? He went through some fiery bumps and twists in the road leading up to Europe Uprising 3, but the aftermath of the Art of War was fantastic. A lot of folks said that he and Samoa Joe stole the show, and some are saying that it would be match of 2025 in WWA's history. I, for one, would agree with you folks. On the beginning to the road to European Uprising 3, Hollywood Hogan's $100,000 bounty on Kane would run completely rampant. However though, Kane was one step ahead of the Hollywood Hulkster, always avoiding to try and get caught. But Drew Gulak and Timothy Thatcher were among the few to actually get to the Big Red Machine, trying to take him out to get that $100,000 bounty. But Kane had some assisting backing him up. His Big Blue counterpart, aka the Big Blue Ice Machine, Blue Kane, helped him, and thus the bounty was not successful. Then we moved on to a tag team women's match regarding the WWA European Champions Mandy Rose and Saki Kashima taking on Anna Jay and Taya Milo. Mandy Rose and Saki Kashima were actually victorious in this, showing some great teamwork. Although some were speculating that maybe Saki could become a future challenger for Mandy's European Women's title. But Anna Jay and Taya Milo? Well, unfortunately after the match, those two were arguing over the loss. But then Tay slapped in rage at Anna, making the crowd gasp in shock. This made Anna to get very, very mad, and she tackled down her now ex-tag team partner. And as the two scrapped around, the officials at ringside finally came in and got the two separated. Both were later still arguing over one another when WWA General Manager Shane McMahon then made it official for the two to have a match for the following week, with Clem Barker himself giving the final word. Mortis took on Wes Lee, and it was over within 6 minutes, with Mortis gaining the upper hand and victorious. However, the lights went out, and the snow fell upon the ring and in the arena, as Mortis looked on the Titantron and saw Blue Kane with Paul Bearer with his blue urn, sending a chilling message. Oh yes, Mortis, as you stand there within the cold blizzard of snow and ice, paled with intimidation of terror, a mere shadow of darkness that I have so longingly nurtured over the years. You believe in yourself to be the architect of destruction from the underworld, that you can stop that of my Big Blue Machine that stands before me. Welcome, European Uprising 3. Your fate is not in your skeletal hands, my friend. Oh no, no. It is in the hands of something far more formidable, far more blue, should we say. You see, Mortis, because of what you did at the Art of War, when you cost Blue Kane his match against Chris Jericho, and even distracting him during the tag team triple threat match, you have awakened a frozen beast. Oh yes, a frozen beast that even you and your combated blood sports cannot compare. You have poked and prodded my big blue machine, and now he rises, not in a blaze of hellfire, not unlike my son himself, but in a storm of azure fury. He will dismantle you. He will crush your wretched spirit and send you back into the depths pits from whence you came from. You'll be left broken and a shattered husk of who you used to be. And when he's done, all that will remain of you is a faded memory and a stain on the canvas, with your skeleton corpse seeping into the concrete. And you will be put to rest, Mortis. Oh yes, this time for permanent. Or rather, you'll find no peace at all, but only an endless freezing nightmare. Oh yes! Following from that, the Animal Batista took on the former WWA European Champion Tucker Knight, and while Tucker tried everything to rebound strong from his loss, Batista overpowered Tucker and gave him one hell of a Batista bomb, winning the match within just a few minutes to spare. It was clear that the Animal Batista was not in any good mood at all. Following on that was a submission match, Timothy Thatcher taking on Y2J Chris Jericho. While Timothy Thatcher surprised Jericho with all of his submission mat technical skills, Chris Jericho soon proved that he had just more left within his own experience to outsmarten Timothy Thatcher and locked on the walls of Jericho, making him tap out, securing the victory via submission. Then on week 2, Blue Kane took on Crush, and while the match itself was hard smash hitting, and yes, it definitely was a smash hitting contest, ladies and gentlemen, mind you, but it seemed like the Big Blue Machine was going to win the match. But then Mortis got involved as the referee tried to get Paul Bearer off the ring apron, when Mortis hit Blue Kane with his own blue urn to knock him out, thus allowing Crush to get the victory over the Big Blue Machine, thus marking Kane's second loss in singles competition in the WWA. Then the Ultimate Warrior and Sting took on the team of Big Show and Andre. Well, to be quite honest, it's what you would have expected it. Big Show and Andre did dominate over the Blade Runners, and it looked like Sting and Warrior just had no chance at all. But then the match ended in a no DQ for Ultimate Warrior and Sting coming out as the victors on that one, after Solo and Fatu from ECW, with Ravishing Rick Rude behind them, came in from the crowd and beated up the tag team champions, and thus took their tag titles with them to be held hostage over on the other company. But that wasn't all. While that was happening, Big Show and Andre had been blaming one another for the loss of the DQ before Big Show snapped and knocked out Andre with his knockout blow. WWA management would soon make it official that the two would have to wrestle each other at Europe Uprising 3 for them to settle their differences. But then as the night wore on though, Omos the Nigerian Giant was absolutely pissed off with WWA's management's change and demanded an explanation, because he was supposed to face Andre and the Big Show at Europe Uprising 3 because of his victories over the two. But then WWE owner Glenn Barker himself, along with his bodyguard Diesel, came out and tried to explain with reasoning over Omos. But unfortunately though, the Nigerian Giant was not listening. This made him go into a threatening aim mode at Glenn, and he almost got a hold of him. and he nearly took Glenn for the high angle spine buster, but then Diesel came in to the aid, but that wasn't enough to stop Omos, for Diesel ended up getting chokeslammed by him. Just as Omos was going to go back to Glenn, and the crowd booing and begging him not to hurt the WWA owner, Kane suddenly came out, along with Paul Bearer, and saved him, as he and Omos started to brawl, knowing that those two had a clash not too long ago. And as they brawled, it soon got more intense. But then, Omos grabbed a hold of Kane by the mask and attempting to break it, but that suddenly changed when Samoa Joe came to Kane's aid from out of nowhere and low-blowed sucker-kicking Omos. From there, Joe and Kane gave the Nigerian Giant a brutal and bloody beatdown, making him bleed and even giving him severe chair shots, before Kane and Joe gave him an ST Joe chokeslam combination, smashing Omos right through the ring. After that, Joe and Kane both looked at each other, silently nodding at one another, before they both headed back to the locker room, with some of the fans questioning whether or not the two were up to something, rather than just helping each other. Later on, when an interviewer questioned to Glenn Barker and Diesel about Omos' actions it was confirmed that Omos had been taught the hardest lesson in WWA when crossing the boss, and that unfortunately though, Glenn took it upon himself to terminate Omos' contract, thus firing him from the company. It was just at that moment that Hollywood Hogan came into Glenn's office and was shocked as hell, telling him that Kane had once more avoided getting taken out because Omos had failed in getting the $100,000 bounty that was supposed to be inflicted. But he was ranting on that Samoa Joe had insisted in saving the Big Red Machine. Glenn wasn't going to have any of this. As a matter of fact, he was glad that he saw Hogan, and thus telling him that he would face Samoa Joe later that night, much to Hogan's pure shock, and later was just frustrated knowing that his bounty plan had not worked out again. Anna Jay and Tay Milo then went at it, as WWA management had requested them to face off each other the following week. Both women wasted no time in brawling it out, much to the rabid crowds cheering on for both women. It was really stiff and full of rage, and at one point, Tay backed suplex Anna onto the hard ring apron and swung her so hard into the steel guardrails before attempting to finish her off with the Tay KO, but somehow Anna Jay kicked out, and after counting her, she managed to lock in the Queen's Lair, and Anna was victorious when making her now ex-tag team partner pass out. Taylor was literally out of it. When the bell rang, the crowd actually ended up cheering for Anna Jay afterwards, and she later claimed backstage that she was going after championship gold, taking aim at Jezebel's women's title. Following on from that, Samoa Joe took on Hollywood Hogan, and well, after Hogan made some more deeper claims of how he was going to do more than just ruin Kane's championship reign, Samoa Joe took it upon himself that he would do something and try and soften up the Hulkster in his own way to wear and tear him down to make it a little easier for Kane. The two fought on in a hard-fought battle, and it almost got out of hand, going inside the ring, into the crowd, and back into the ring again. But then Hogan gained the upper hand, using all of his dirty tactics that he knew. After countering the big boot, Joe went for the Coquina clutch, but Hogan backed him into the corner, which crushed the referee to breaking the hold. But then, just as Joe countered Hogan's offense, Batista slid into the ring and speared Joe before spine-bustering him. This allowed Hogan to take the advantage and hit 2 leg drops, gain the victory over Samoa Joe. Afterwards, we were able to get word from Batista as to why he did what he did. You want to know the explanation of why I did what I just did? You want answers to what I did to your beloved Samoan submission machine? Well, Samoa Joe, it's no secret. You have a legacy that no one can match up to. Your past of championship reigns speak for themselves. Even your run when you started in the business, when you climbed up the independent ladder in Ring of Honor. You took that world title and you made it into a world championship. And where was I? I was on a thrilling roll of my life. I was on the climbing ranks and I broke into the main event in the World Wrestling Federation during a glorious peak time and a ruthless aggression's time. I became world champion by 2005. And where were you? You were too busy flying around, doing what you do best. And you knew for a fact that you couldn't cut it in the business where I came from, Joe. Because you see, while you are big and agile and talented, and you are quite the unique athlete, I will say, you, when compared to my stature, are nothing more than a stepping stone. Because you see, you have tried to run back up to the WWA ladder, and you had your shot. You had your shot to become the World Heavyweight Champion. But now, you must fall at the back, because I am going to do whatever I can to get back into the main event caliber and win my second shot to get a shot at Kane's heavyweight title. Because I am going to become the face of WWA. I am going to crush everything that gets in my way. And while I do admit I had lost my sense of direction and my pride after losing to Brock Lesnar, I see that beating you, Samoa Joe, is what I need. I need to beat you to get back on the winning streak, to try and get back to where I need to be, at the top of the WWA mountain. And I know for a fact that you and I, we've never even clashed before, we've never even tangled in a wrestling ring. But I'll tell you something, Joe. I want a piece of you so badly, and I'm going to issue the challenge. Will you accept it at European Uprising 3? Or are you gonna end up cowering in fear because you know the full wrath of what I'm capable of doing? You may be a Samoan monster, Joe, but I am the one and only animal of wrestling. And if you don't believe me, just look at my past of destruction when I molded down every member of my past Evolution members. Look at my series of matches with that 17-time prick of a champion known as Coxina, or whatever you want to call him. Or even look at my past good matches against a man who is known as Mark Calloway. Go and figure that one out, Joe, and you will see just why I am the baddest you'll ever meet. After he came back from a commercial break, it was Brock Lesnar taking on the Governor Mind Stone. Martin took on Brock Lesnar in a very stiff match, but Lesnar did suffer from problems due to his diverticulitis, and he almost got knocked out by Stone's lariat during the match. However, the Beast would gain some of the advantage, but made a big mistake by going up to the top rope, thus allowing Martin to nail a hard-crushing London Bridge to Lesnar that almost got him the victory in breaking his undefeated streak. But then, when he set it up for another London Bridge, Lesnar pulled off a desperate German suplex, then attempted an F5, but Stone countered it and hit a harsh closed fist to the face that broke Lesnar's nose, causing it to bleed. That pissed off Lesnar, and after catching Martin off guard, he locked into the Kimura lock. Stone struggled for a few seconds, but then tapped out. Lesnar once more remaining unbeaten in the WWA. Next up was Brooke Hogan, with Hollywood Hogan in her corner, taking on Mayu Iwatani. Brooke, however, though, was able to showcase just why she was really good and how she had improved over the last year or so. But Mayu also showed in her own talent and really got some good moves in. But Brooke was just absolutely dominant. She showed some impressiveness, strength, and showed that she was just following down the right path that Hulk Hogan had led all them years ago. After Brooke Hogan won against Mayu, Jezebel appeared on the Titantron screen with Kane and Paul Bearer at her side as she sent another warning, stating that the family of Hellfire would consume both Brooke and Hogan on the night of European Uprising 3. Take a look and hear this.
I have to admit, Brooke Hogan, that was almost an impressive performance. However, I'm not one to be easily fooled by how much fear you're hiding from within yourself, believing that you and your father, Hulk Hogan, that Hollywood mania will outshine the flames of hell itself, convincing yourself that you'll withstand the storm that me and my half-brother are going to unleash at European Uprising 3. It will be more than just a wrestling event. It will be the grave of your ambitions, the end of the name of your father's legacy when Kane beats him, and the beginning of our reign as 2025 progresses.
You and your daughter speak of championships and glory, Hogan. But me and my half-sister, we speak of fire and fury. I, for one, will look forward to it when we meet. Yet, your bounty on me continues to fail, for no matter who it is that you send after me, I will still come at you. And after it's over with, I will leave still as the World Heavyweight Champion.
Indeed, you will be my big half-brother. When it's over, when the last ember fades, Hollywood mania will be nothing but smoldering ash, and we will stand victorious, having claimed what will always be rightfully ours. Oh, and Brooke, darling, consider this to be your final warning, for the reckoning will be at hand.
Oh yes, it definitely will be. The reckoning for the Hogans is going to be at hand. Oh yes, it will.
Yes, it will be a night of hell.
The following week, the Macho Man Randy Savage took on Batista in his 6th TV title match. The match was not that easy for him though, because the Animal had dominated much of the match. But just as the 7th minute mark had passed, with only 3 minutes left remaining, Batista nailed his signature spinebuster on the Macho Man, and then took the top rope elbow pad off, having some severe evil intentions. But the referee had caught him in the act, and he went to fix it up. But while the referee's back was turned, Samoa Joe came in and choked out Batista with the Coquina Clutch before getting out of the ring and heading backstage. This allowed Randy Savage to get to the top rope and hit his top rope finishing elbow drop and gain the pinfall, thus retaining his TV title for a 6th time. Up next was Finlay Hellion and Tamakio Nakano taking on Riho and Kane Okada. Riho and Kane Okada were victorious, but after they were celebrating, the WWA's European Champion Mandy Rose appeared. Later on in the night, Mortis took on Kane in an attempt to get the bounty that Hulk Hogan had placed on him. While the match was tough, no doubt about it, Mortis had Kane rocked a couple of times, even countering a tombstone piledriver, but he missed his cryonic kick finisher, accidentally hitting the referee with it, only to turn and got chokeslammed by the WWA Heavyweight Champion. But then Hulk Hogan and his daughter Brooke came out and started attacking on the Big Red Machine, but then the lights went out, only to come back on again as Jezebel, using her flame red bat to scare off Brooke before getting back into the ring, getting a hold of Hogan, locking his hands behind of him. Kane had his lined up shot for him as Hogan begged and pleaded for mercy. But then the most horrible moment happened, as Kane, aiming for Hogan's face, shot a fireball from his hand. Hogan ducked out of the way, and the fireball hit Jezebel right in her masked face, and she fell, screaming in agony, covering her masked face. Hogan retreated backstage with an expression of bewilderment and shock, as if he had seen a ghost, or rather, a demonic pyromaniac. But then suddenly, the crowd of the fans went silent, and they were deeply shocked as Kane, now panicked and remorsefully, took his sister out of the ring, so heartbroken on the inside, hearing his own screams muffled up by his mask as he took her to the locker room, not allowing anyone to come near him or his sister. One of our cameramen, however, they were able to get inside and filmed what happened. And I must warn you folks, it might distress or upset some of you who are seeing this.
Jezebel! Oh God, no! Little sister! No! No! God, no!
That bastard! Hogan was right there!
I know he was. He avoided what we had planned, but this wasn't. Sister, I didn't mean to.
My face, my eyes. Ugh, this pain really hurts, Kane. It really hurts. Ugh.
I know. I'm sorry, sister. I'm so sorry. We'll get him. We'll get Hogan and Brooke. They'll be ours. They will be ours. They won't get away with this. No, they won't.
That was something. I think that's his sister. Anyway, Bub on her pills. That keep good old jerk going all night long with many women from all over the globe.
After what felt like hours, Glenn Barker was able to get inside Kane's locker room and after talking him down, gave the paramedics the time needed to check up on Jezebel, placing her onto a stretcher and taking her to a nearby hospital. Glenn later told us that he heard Kane repeating some certain words of heavy genuine remorse and a stark contrast of what had fabricated his anger he normally portrayed. He also said that in a very long time that the Big Red Machine was truly vulnerable and that it was all for his half-sister. Hulk Hogan, meanwhile, was so mad and pissed off about what had happened, although despite filled with fear of what had happened to him, he took it upon himself to come to the ring on the following night on the final journey to our build-up to Uprising 3 along with his daughter, and this is what was said.
The biggest icon in wrestling.
Well, let me tell you something, brothers. You fans of the WWA make me and my daughter Brooke sick to our very cores. Because you see, what happened last week, you all saw what your World Heavyweight Champion, your big red role model, SOB himself, tried to do to me. He tried to burn
the face of Hollywood, brother. He tried to burn the soul of Hollywood Mania. That's right, you all saw it. Kane, you should no longer be representing this company because you are a disgrace, a flaming smark to what you've done. You call yourself a world champion? The face of the WWA? Well, I'll tell you one thing, you big red brother. That WWA title is coming back with me, and I'll do whatever I have to do, regardless. You see, nobody tries to burn the face of Hulk Hogan and get away with it, man. So, I've been telling WWA management through Hell High Water that when we meet, it's not gonna be your typical one-on-one wrestling match. Oh no, no, no. I'm putting an added stipulation in there, brother. When you and I clash, it ain't gonna be clean, brother. It's gonna be a one-on-one, straight-up, pure brawling fight. And yes, I, Hulk Hogan, have overcome so many odds before in the past, brother. But when I get you, Kane boy, I'm gonna reveal just what a shamble of a champion you really are. And I'll make sure that your fiery fury does not burn any further, because Uprising 3 is where it ends for you, man. And I'll be taking the WWA Heavyweight Championships to places it's never been. Hell, I'll go even one better than those stupid promotions across the pond could ever even understand. Even though that is the most prized possession in our business, brother, I'll be taking that title and using it to parade in my career. After all, it will be 23 years since I last held Championship Gold, man. So this match is important to me. It'll mean more than you might think. And your Family of Hell Fire Cane, if that's what you want to call it, it's gonna burn out and be laid in a chart of ash. So what will you do? Are you willing to accept the stipulation that I've laid down, man? Or are you gonna cower in fear, thinking too much of your stupid half-ass sister who you burned by your own hands, you disgusting big red...
Hulk Hogan. This bloodbath between us, it's gone far too long. Everyone you sent to put that $100,000 bounty on me, it has crossed a line. You have already proven to me that you are not even capable of taking me out on your own. You call yourself the man, the biggest star in the wrestling industry. Well, as far as I'm concerned, along with my Canaanites, you are just a darkened, broken shell of a man that you used to be. But I will enjoy the pleasure of dismantling you, destroying you bit by bit, and I will devour the evilness that's burning inside you. And after that, Hollywood Mania will be burned within chart of ashes. While I did take my eye off the ball, and my half-sister Jezebel ended up taking a brunt of a blow that I was intended for you to take, it has distracted me. But as they say, the fires of hell that are burning within me, and my half-sister, and my blue counterpart over there, and my father, and all the Canaanites here tonight, we will band together, and Hollywood Mania, along with you and your daughter, Brooke, will burn in eternal hell. This WWE title means more than you'll ever know. And when I've beaten you, Hogan, it'll be the biggest victory of my entire WWE career. And as for your stipulation, I accept it. I will play you at your own game. But don't even think that you're coming out of this in one piece, because you've now crossed over into the threshold of hell. And as you like to say, Hulk Hogan, what are you gonna do when the big Red Machine burns you!
Oh boy, you could just feel the tension between those two, ladies and gentlemen. And so it's going to be official. Kane versus Hulk Hogan, but not just in any match for the World Heavyweight Championship, but it will be contested in a no disqualification match, which means there are no rules and anything goes. Oh boy, you talk about Europe Uprising 3 being a night of chaos? Well, it's gonna be. Well, that just about wraps it up, folks. I'm good old JR, and I look forward to seeing you all at Europe Uprising 3. See you all, folks.